Two pieces I've never worn. I want to show you two pieces I've made. Both of them are good work and I'm proud of the beadwork, and I have never worn either of them. This one, it's all black. It's got matte and shiny beads, and the contrast is texture, not the colour, and it's a beautiful piece. On a blonde against a white shirt, stunning, absolutely sing. But on me, with dark hair and olive skin, it disappears. And it's the same reason I rarely wear black right up close to my face. I always need a V-neck or some skin showing or something to break it. And without that break, it just absorbs into my colouring and vanishing. The second one, it's bright yellow. This one, I made it in a design on the fly session, and I love the process and I love the result. But have I ever worn it? No. Why? Because yellow is not a colour I wear at all. And it's not about contrast, it's about my palette and my colouring. The colours that actually work on me versus the colours I happen to love on a mat. These aren't design failures. The beadwork is fine, they're wearability failures. And that's a completely different problem. I'm Paula from On a String. This is Beadesign, and today we're talking about designing for the person who's actually going to wear the piece. Here's the thing about colouring beadwork. We choose it on our mat, under studio lighting and against a neutral background, and we fall in love with it there. But that piece is going to end up against skin, against hair, and against whatever the wearer is wearing that day. Colour behaves differently on the body than it does on a table, and the framework that helps us think about that is warm and cool. Not just in terms of colour theory, but in terms of the person wearing the piece. Let's figure out where you sit. And I'll go first. There are three things to look at: your skin undertone, your hair colour, and your eyes. Your skin undertone first. Look at the inside of your wrist in natural light. Not under your lamp, not on your phone screen. Natural light. If your veins look blue or purple, you're running cool. If they look green, you're running warm. And if you genuinely can't tell, you might be a neutral, which means you can pull colour from both sides. Lucky you. Here's mine. I'm green. I have warm undertones and hair colour is dark. Warm hair has golden, red and auburn tones, even though mine's somewhat dyed. Even in blondes and brunettes. Cool hair is ash. There is no warmth in that tone at all. Think platinum, cool brown, blue, black. My hair is dark with warm tones. Warm. My eyes, they're brown. Warm eyes tend towards brown, hazel, olive green or amber. Cool eyes are blue, grey or cool green. Brown equals warm. So for me, a warm undertone, warm hair, warm eyes. I'm a warm palette person. And that tells me a lot about the colours which will actually work on my body. If you're warm, this is your territory. Terracotta, rust, coral, warm reds, olives, burnt orange, gold, chocolate, watermelon, deep warm pinks. These are the colours that sit against warm skin and warm hair, and they look intentional, like they belong there. I've been told that my colours are watermelon, coral, reds, warm pinks, and they're right. When I wear those colours close to my face, everything lifts. My skin looks better, my eyes look brighter, and it's not magic, that's warm on warm. It resonates. Now, there are warm colours that can still be tricky. Very deep saturated colours can absorb into deep warm skin tones, the same way black absorbs into mine. The fix is usually contrast, a lighter value, a metallic bridge, or wearing it lower rather than close to the face. Cool colouring is the other side. Ash hair, no golden tone. Pink or blue skin undertone. Blue, grey or cool green eyes. If that's you, your palette looks like this. Jewel tones, navy, cool blues, berry, plum, silver, cool white, icy pink. These sit against cool skin and make it glow. They work with ash hair rather than fighting it. The risk for cool people is the same risk I have with black. Very cool, dark colours worn close to the face can flatten. A silver or white bridge or wearing the piece lower usually solves it. And just like warm tones on warm skin, when cool hits cool, you'll see it. The whole thing lifts. And here's where it gets interesting, because we don't always love the colours that love us back. I'm a warm palette person and I love black. I'm from Melbourne. Black is basically our uniform and I do wear it constantly. But all black, close to my face, not on me. We've already established it disappears. And so what do? I don't give up black, I bridge it. Here is an all black palette. And when I look at this, there is no variance in here. Everything's all black and absorbed. But let's swap out one of those beads for a gold bead. Look at the difference. Black with a gold bridge. The gold actually gives the black somewhere to go. It actually creates that point of difference. It pulls the warmth in my skin rather than fighting it. And the whole piece will become wearable when I make it. Same with warm red or terracotta alongside black. The warmth does the mediating work and you don't have to abandon the colours you love. You just need to understand why and what they need to work with you specifically. And that answer is different from everyone. And that's exactly the point. But what if you don't know who's going to wear it? What if you want to sell your piece? Maybe it's a gift. You need to think about who you're actually making the piece for. If it's a gift, ask 3 things. What colours does the person wear a lot of? What colour do they avoid? And what colour is their hair? Those 3 answers will tell you almost everything you need to know. And if you're selling, think about versatility. Palettes that hold a warm neutral bridge tend to work across more skin tones than purely cool or purely warm palettes. A gold metallic thread through a jewel tone piece softens it for warm skin. A silver through a warm piece makes it accessible for cool skin. And the bridge bead from the last episode is doing double duty here. It's not just managing colour relationships in the design, it's making the piece wearable for a wider range of people. And if it's a commission, just ask. Most people are delighted to talk about their colours. Nobody minds being asked, what colours make you feel good? Colour isn't what you love on a mat. It's about who's going to wear it, how it sits against their skin, their hair, their life. That all black piece sitting in my collection, it's not a write-off. It just needs a little smattering of gold and the right neckline. And I know that now. The free guide for this episode is linked below. It's got a self-assessment built in, your warm and cool palette maps, and the crossover strategy all in one place. Do the assessment and then use it. And if this connected with the last episode on the bridge bead, that's exactly the intention. These 2 ideas work together. Links to both are below. And if you want to go deeper into design thinking for beadwork, the Design Eye membership is on my YouTube channel. Early access, extended content, a community of beaders who think about the why. The link is below and I'd love to see you in there. Thank you so much for joining me. Like and subscribe if this was useful and I'll see you in the next one.